Alrighty. Should be good to go. Good morning, good morning. Okay. Another slow day it's looking. At least to start here. Relatively tame. Relatively tame watch list. Righty. Rest morning. Yeah, it's looking like a slower day. At least to start here. Alright, gap scanner is very slow. It is a Friday. We've been seeing it be slower a lot of these days as well. Would not be surprised at all if we see a slower general day today. But I'm here, regardless. I think AVTV is the only thing really holding up here. Yeah, I think this is it. But yes, good morning to everybody tuning in here. Hopefully we can get some momentum here. Looking at AVTV, 4 million shares. Stock has actually been there's been a lot of periods where the stock has not moved much at all. We had this pop up and it just kind of faded. Good morning, Larry. Yeah. Receives first purchase order and advances infrastructure. I mean, that sounds good on the surface. No recent shelf registration. The last one was way back in August. So we shouldn't have downward pressure from dilution. Unfortunately, this might be a pretty chill day today. For those of you that are perhaps curious on the Ruby play from yesterday, I did some research into this one to figure out what exactly was going on with this stock. Right, so yesterday I had called out how the stock was grinding up, and it seemed like the level 2 was very thick, the volume being traded was very high relative to the float. And as it turns out, if you go back around 30 days, right, you got to go back a little bit, but during this period here where this sell-off was occurring, this was dilution, or very likely dilution. So there was about 500,000 shares of volume that went through during this period. And then right before the pop-up, there was a strange amount of volume here as well. And it turns out there was a lot of warrants that were exercised during this period. So when the stock finally reverse split and sold off, this volume was quite low. And I thought it was strange at the time. If I can get a good zoom in here of this. The volume was quite low on this sell-off relative to the moves it was making before. And there was no real dilution that took place here. Basically, whoever was trying to dilute gave up because there was just no volume. So instead, they artificially created the volume. They essentially pumped this thing up with what other shares they had, and that's what they ended up diluting with. So that's why it looked like the float was higher, because it likely was. I couldn't have known beforehand that there was going to have this dump coming, but just seeing that the float didn't match what was being reported was an immediate red flag. But yeah, certainly interesting. EVTV continuing to grind up here. Looking at the level 2 is actually quite thick. Over 10,000 shares on the ask. Yeah, we're kind of seeing this grind pattern repeat. It's just grinding higher. Yeah, this looks very thickly traded. I mean, I know it's 4.8 million shares outstanding, but yeah. Certainly looks thickly traded. Yeah, for this volume too, this is not actually great. This low of volume relative to how much churn is going on, it's actually not that impressive. We'll see though. Good morning, Saul. Good morning, sir. Yeah, I think we're just hunkering tight here. It's looking like it's going to be a slower day. We're basically going to be banking on news dropping at either the top or half hours, because as far as just raw momentum this morning, we don't really have anything on the gap scanner, right? Like, the biggest you got is a 25% mover. It's a Friday. Market's been slower. I'm not really holding my breath. MLEC did make a big move, or a moderate size move yesterday. It went up like another 80%, but it didn't really hold that up at these levels. We're still seeing this stair-step pattern though, so it is worth keeping an eye on for just a multi-day move pattern if you're someone who does that. But yeah, the volume is just non-existent these last few pre-markets. The volume seems to have been entirely during the market sessions. The only exception was on the very first leg that it made here. Other than that, there's been no pre-market activity at all in terms of volume. Yeah. Good morning, John. Yeah, I got mixed signals from this one. for EVTB. This one's just grinding higher. The spread is very thick. I mean, even now, I said 10,000. I'm actually seeing closer to like 30,000 in some instances. So very thickly traded. The news seems strong, right? So you got the news going for you. There's no shelf registration recently, so you got that going for you. But it does seem thick. It does seem like it's grinding slow, and the volume isn't super impressive. So I'm getting a lot of mixed signals on EVTV. I see some bull case, some bear case. Gonna watch it market open? Yeah. Yeah, MLEC seems like it's something to watch going into market open. Definitely. Best the markets to move slow, then lose money. That's some words you're saying there, Obi, but I get what you're saying. Yeah. I'm not really looking to force anything. If I see a good setup, I'll take it. And that should always be the goal. If the market isn't giving opportunity, then that's just, it is what it is, right? I get my passive Weeble premium income, which is like 50 cents or $1 or whatever it is. And I get rewarded for being patient. Yeah, this is making a good move up here. Good morning, Sergiets. I did go ahead yesterday. I am opening a broker account for margin trading in Thinkorswim. I'm also going to reach out to customer service here and have them go through the whole procedure to unrestrict stocks for me. I don't know how long that whole process is going to take. So maybe within the next week or two, I should have that second account up on Thinkorswim. And ideally, I can alternate between Thinkorswim and Webull for the shorting strategy. Right, because the 3-day trades, it's doing that in one account. That's just not, that's too infrequent to have meaningful trades, meaningful progress. Like, I literally wouldn't even be taking a trade every day, just by the structure that I'd be trading. And I'd rather have two $2,000 accounts with margin than one $25,000 account. I feel like just opening myself up to that amount of potential risk if I capitulate doesn't seem like a good idea. Also, it's tying up a lot of my capital to test out a strategy where I'm trading a few shares. It seems very capital inefficient. But yeah, I'll go ahead and update you guys once that gets moving forward. I'm hoping it won't take more than a week or two. Until then, I plan to just keep alternating between this cash account and the margin account. So going into Monday, I'll have a day trade, so I'll be able to go back and start working in that other account. Good morning. Made lots of money on EVTV earlier this year. Is it going to happen again? Yeah, EVTV, it's been a repeat mover, right? Historically, like it has had one big move. It's had another big move here. Yeah, this is one that has outperformed as far as small cap penny stocks goes, right? This was a much lower penny stock, and it has made a very impressive few moves. And I believe it's been a multi-day mover in some instances too. Right, you can even just see here, like this has been a multi-day mover. So certainly worth keeping an eye on this one. Yeah, the argument that this is a multi-day mover that is valid. Or not multi-day. Historically it has been a mover. Yes, that is very true. Oh, we have RNG, the stock. There's literally a stock called RNG. That's cute. Mostly trading sideways. AIDX, this one's weird. So like this one keeps flashing up on my momentum scanner on Thinkorswim. Like what is, so this is a new stock. This IPO'd yesterday or whatever. Okay, so this was like halted, I guess. So this was halted yesterday. Some reason it's pinging on my momentum scanner constantly. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's doing that. So this had a status saying it was halted yesterday, but it's actually like looking at the times down here. It actually had volume coming through. So I'm not sure why volume's coming through if it was halted. Unless this was a resumption. Okay, no, this is just a resumption. Okay. Alright, yeah, so that was just being weird. Let's see how EVTV does here. I'm not really convinced with it. Like, the level 2 is very thick. Even if this does break down, the spread's so thickly traded, it's going to be hard to capture any real bounce. Not really ideal for what I'm looking for. And ENVB showing up again for some reason from yesterday. Yeah, 175 up to 217. I mean, even this is like maybe a 25% move. This isn't anything crazy. Yeah, I think I'm mostly just sitting tight, not really in any rush or any FOMO to capture anything. Just staying patient. Probably waiting for the half hour. That is the main thing I'm wondering is, will there be anything at the half hour? Boring Friday. When did this pop up? This popped up right in the early morning hours. Just kind of bled off. Very weird daily chart on this one. Wow, went up to 180. Yeah, got that accumulation pattern. Yeah, even if this does break down, I don't think I'm interested in this. It's just too thick. Put out a poll here, see how people feel about the current day. See what you guys think about this. I'm trying to think of how to word it. Good morning, Sunny. Yeah, I've been thinking more. I watched Ross's recap, and I kind of agree with his sentiment. He articulates it better. Um, his position is that he thinks we're in a cold market with just some hot spurts. And the more I think about it, the more I agree with him. We have seen some decent moves lately, like MLAC and a couple others. But the overall trend has been that the volume's been lower, the resolution's been lower. And because of that, I'm still more postured to say we're in a cold market. Either that, or we could be seeing early signs of a shift to a warmer market. But we need to see more volume, and we need to see stocks holding better. Right, seeing a 100% mover every like 4 or 5 days, and everything else just rolls over immediately. That's not a warm market. That's like a cold market with occasionally seeing good news stocks move. See, that's kind of where I'm postured right now. Yeah, I'm continuing to see a lot of people. I mean, I know some people in chat have been posting good results, but I've seen a lot of people in the last month just they're getting impatient and they're FOMOing into this market and they're averaging down, they're breaking rules. I've seen this from multiple people, a lot of people. So just be vigilant. Even if it's slow, you can always just walk away. You know, there's no need to force anything. Right? Not financial advice, of course, but this isn't the market to be overly aggressive. Made a quick $98 on EVTV. That's why I'm late. Fair enough. Were you shorting or were you long? Which side were you on? I mean, you could have made money on either way on this one. This had a pretty big drawdown, pretty big move up. To me, I feel like it's just moving too slow, but I mean, if you would have got in this for just 5 minutes, let's say you timed it well. So you got in at 88, you held 5 minutes. We'll just say you got the peak here, 205. So you would have got 13 cents. I mean, to me, that seems like a lot of risk to take on holding something to see it just pan out and just kind of grind. Market is pure cheeks. I agree. I take a trade every 3 days. Refuse to give up money to this crap. Yep. If any of you guys have been following me, you'll know that in the past I would usually trade at least once every day. This month has been abysmally slow. I had a couple bigger losses earlier this month. Recognized what was going on. Had to step back, you know. Had to detach. I had a nice base hit yesterday. I'm happy for that. And yeah, if this market's just going to be slow, I'm not going to force it. You're long the Ross style, I think. More like fumble into it. Okay, so you traded front side. I mean, fair enough, right? Like this had news on it. This was at least having something, right? This is a former mover. I do think that the level 2 being oversaturated was problematic, but if you're able to make money from it, $98 is $98. As long as you followed whatever rules you're doing. You said you did the Ross style, but I don't know if Ross would have traded this, right? Like, this is a slower mover. I don't know if he would have done that. I feel like he likes those very quick movers, right? He's more Bobby adjacent, right? He wants the really quick movers. CDIO may be doing something. I saw that one earlier. I mean, fair enough. It's getting volume. This actually might turn into something. You know, you actually have a point. I saw this earlier, but I kind of ruled it off because it just kind of faded down. But if it's going to fully recover, could be worth keeping an eye on this one, right? You're back basically at the highs from the yesterday evening session. No news here to justify this new leg. Actually, no news for this either. So yeah, this initial... So this move wasn't anything. Okay, what about this? Yeah, this wasn't justified either. There was news for this. Okay, so this is actually just part of a bigger run. Okay, so yeah, there was news on the 18th, and this is basically just a continuation move. Now, that's fair. There could be something to this. This one's a bit of a slower mover. 6 million shares. Yeah, this one's also a bit of a slower mover, but it does seem to make these bigger moves when it does move. If I'm looking at the larger time frames. Seeing higher volume here than we saw in after hours. Yeah, honestly, this is very, very high volume, even during market open hours. This volume is comparable to market open. Yeah, this could resolve and do something big if it doesn't just reject fully. Right, even from like this low here, 76 up to 18. Yeah, I mean, you're getting pretty good range on that. That's like a 30, 40 cent range. Yeah, so this one definitely is moving enough to maybe engage with. Like Bobby pointed out, though, there is pretty big wicks here. 317 straight down to 297. So this moves 20 cents in some of these drops. You got some kind of support trend line here. It's not super obvious, but it does look like there's some kind of support. Is there a way I can like extend this out? Okay, extend to the right. So cool! Look at that, I just extended it to the right. We'll see if this line gets supported. Will it respect the line, or will it break? It did. I would call this respect too, right? It broke below it, but it recaptured it. You're waiting for something a little cleaner. I don't know. Like, this is actually much better than I initially thought. Right? You're getting some volume. This is no news immediately on it, but it is a continuation play. So there at least is a form of a catalyst for it. I don't really ever like messing with the multi-day movers, but at least there's a reason why it's moving. It seems like most people think today's going to be slow, and understandably so. EVTV looks like about a 50% retracement from the peak. All right, this is pretty close to the trend line. We'll see if it actually bounces here. It's a little higher. Okay, this is a more proper trend line test. Does it bounce here? It's a pretty good buy point for a trendline bounce. If you bought here on the bounce, you immediately got rewarded. Only 10 cents though currently. After our high at 320, sending resistance up there as well. 350 will be resistance, so it has some work to do. I mean, it's certainly a start though, right? Like, this is a good start. I agree it has work to do. Okay, so it initially had a bounce off this level. Didn't really break higher though, right? We had a 1 minute high that didn't resolve well. BJDX. This one's popping. Has news on it. For some reason, Zendu scanners aren't really working well. I've had to rely on my own scanners more lately. For some reason, Zendu's just not really updating with some of these catches lately. So only 700,000 shares outstanding, according to Thinkorswim. How true that is, who knows, but... Looking at the level 2, it's not super thick. It is a little bit though. All pre-funded warrants now exercised. Okay, so warrants were exercised, so there is more than 700,000 shares. Oh man, here's the dump. Wow. Okay, so yeah, this one, I mean, this is a pretty nasty downtrend. It's kind of just chopped here. Well, no wonder all the warrants were exercised. Like, you can tell just from looking at the chart. Yeah. Okay, so about 900, wait. Okay. I mean, it's not really good news. I mean, I guess if people were worried about further dilution, but it doesn't really, it's not really good news. So $2 to 244. This was a pretty good bounce, right? In all honesty. If the news was better and this daily chart wasn't so horrible, I would have considered buying here. Like, this initial flush down was on light volume, and I mean, it recaptured beautifully. 20-cent bounce here. But, I mean, just the odds that this thing rolls over just feels so high to me. This isn't a stock I really trust. And the news isn't even... Like, it's questionable. Like, would you call this good news, right? Warrants are all exercised. Okay, great. Now there's no more new warrants that can be exercised. But there's massive overhang. So, I don't know. It's like a mixed bag. I'd call it more bearish than bullish, but certainly not enough to really trust it. Yeah, EVTV is kind of just grinding now. I mean, it was grinding before, but now it's grinding and not even making a directional move. Now it's just going sideways and grinding. Yeah. And the volume's super dry now too. Still, this has shown that this can pop down on light volume and recover. If it does it again, maybe I could test it with reduced size, because it has shown it will bounce. And looking at the daily, I mean, we had this gap down from the news a couple days ago. 186. I mean, it's got so far to go to get to 186. That's the entire move. A nice break with volume. CDIO. Potentially breaking this trend line. See if it ends up recapturing it or not. Let's see what happens with this one. Continuing to see volume increase here. This is going to start drawing some retail attention. It's about 13% from being the leading gapper. All right, this gets up to like 260. It's going to be top of the gap scanner. If it gets there. What did it peak at? I mean, it peaked at like 20%. It's still not a big move. Peaked up around 45, just a little bit over the previous high. Still high volume. Yeah, I'm getting mixed signals. Like, this could be the top. But it could also be just a pullback because these two candles were also high volume. I don't know. I'm getting mixed signals here. I don't really know how to read this. I would ultimately say I'm more bearish than bullish, but I'm not sure. So like this would be an area to test potentially with this volume. So like a bounce here. Maybe a bit, maybe another leg down just because this one was kind of high volume. There's a big seller. They're very cool. They very well could be. I haven't seen it, but I haven't been looking super hard at the level 2. I mean, to be fair, it did just make this big plunge, right? It went down 30 cents, so saying there's a big seller could be right in that context, right? Very big move down, high volume. Makes sense there'd be a big seller. So I would believe that. Well, fellas, not a banger week on my end. Well, maybe it was, depending on how you look at it. Anyway, slow market plus tightening discipline are oddly occurring at the same time. I mean, they need to. CDIO looks like it's failing that trend line. Could be the start of a head and shoulders and backside. Be interesting to see if we do get a bounce up, does it retest and reject off of this line? EVTV still going sideways. VJDX maybe making another leg here. And it could be possible that this entire move was just to create retail interest so that someone can dump on them. Right? A repeat of the Ruby from yesterday. I mean, you did get a bounce though, right? You got a bounce from about 16 up to 27. So you could have got maybe 10 cents out of that. I think it would have been pretty risky though, considering both these candles ended up being high volume at the end. Yeah, it feels like it would have been higher risk. Yeah, seems like a bit of a pop there. Opening looking interesting. Not sure what my bias is, but the float is high enough to grab shorts easily. Watch it open. Mm, 230, I'm seeing a seller there. Not too big, like a 10K. But worth noting. So we did get a nice pop on volume, but it seems like it's reversing pretty quickly. I still don't like it. Still bearish. I'm a bear. I'm a bear. Until it goes down too much, then I'm a bull. Yeah, this stock wasn't very thickly traded at first when we were seeing the price action around here, but it's become much thicker in the last maybe 10 minutes. And now it's just going to go sideways. A sudden, complete freeze of volume. Oh yeah, they're still a big seller. Yeah, I see it there. Yeah, you got about a 50,000, maybe 40,000 share seller here. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, actually, considering the volume here, 40,000's a lot. Yeah, that's like half of a volume of one of these bigger volume bars. Yeah, I'm even more bearish on this now. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, that's almost 100,000. There's almost 100,000 of selling pressure there. Ooh. Oh, but the level 2's also okay, so so there was like 100,000 on the ask, but there's also like there's about 30,000 on the bid. Okay. By the way, 700,000 share float. What a bunch of BS. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess if the warrants are all exercised. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know, Chief. Seeing 100,000 on the ask like that's scary. Maybe some of it's been sold now because that was around here whenever I saw that. Right, I saw like a 50,000 here, but then it increased to 100,000 when it was about here. I appreciate you, Mr. Captain. Thank you. You're doing a good job with your channel. Keep up the good work. When things heat up, again, and it will. It'll be fun. It will, right? I mean, I was making the daily recaps, but whenever it was getting to the point where I wasn't trading for several days because it was just too cold, like at that point, I didn't really know what the point of making a recap was. It didn't feel productive. CDIO is kind of grinding back up. Yeah, I do have plans. I'm not sure how I'm going to make a video discussing it, but I have plans in the direction I want to bring this channel. I feel like in the last several months, I've learned a lot, and the position I have now is different than the position I had when I started the channel. So I want to make my new viewpoints clear without seeming like I'm abandoning the old points. Right? Because it's not that I am rejecting my old way of thinking. It's more so that I've learned new things that have not invalidated the old setup, but kind of given me a new outlook. Maybe an updated kind of view from the old method. But yeah, I plan on making a video going over that. Maybe that'll be something to do this weekend, but yeah. CDIO, honestly, like, I don't know. I guess if it gets back above highs, it could be something to keep an eye on. Get back above this area. Considering it's just Friday and it's slower, I don't, and this has already made quite a big move. I feel like I'd be too late. AVTV, this thing has literally just died. It's flatlined. BJDX, seeing 100,000 on the ask, I don't trust this at all. Growth, you're describing growth. No, I mean, I guess if you want, I can go ahead and give you guys a preview. This will be something, I can go ahead and throw it out here for you guys in chat, since we literally have nothing else to do right now. Unless you want to look at CDIO. I'll just keep these pulled up here. Yeah, so let's talk a bit about something, okay? So there was a day where I was here and someone came into the chat. I think they watched the Warrior Trading videos, so they were a little salty with me. And they basically said, you're only up $2 after 2 hours of trading. That's not worth your time. That's not worth the people in your chat's time. You guys need to be doing something more productive. And a lot of people, and myself included, we all basically said, hey, it's about the process. Most people don't even make money. So $2, by just comparing myself to how the average person performs, I'm not going to say like the top percentile, but I'm at least slightly marginally profitable. So I'm above the average, right? I'm above 50%. And a lot of people are saying that that's worth something. And we kind of just ruled this person off as, okay, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't understand process. And I think process is important. I think it's still one of the most important things for a strategy for you as a person. Like, you need to look at things and process things in a way that allow you to interpret and understand the world and do things that are productive. But this person did, in essence, have a good point. And because of the way they were kind of like pestering or not coming at it from a less good faith perspective, I think a lot that really helped us kind of dogpile on this person. But, and this is something that I've seen from a lot of people. I've had a lot of comments say this, where your results aren't impactful, therefore, what are you doing? And I think, honestly, they are right. And that's part of why I'm trying to introduce this new strategy, to try and give more opportunity to get better results. Because here's the thing, okay? We'll go back through the entirety of this channel. This channel's been up for about 6 months. I was trading with larger size before I did the small account challenge. From that period, I made like maybe $300 net profit, $400 net profit. When I did the 2 months on Lightspeed for that challenge, I lost net 90 something dollars, right? Because the gross I was profitable, but the fees ate me. And then for the Weeble challenge, I made $30 net profit my first month. I'm currently down around $15 net loss this month because of the bigger red days I had at the start and the slower month. So realistically for this channel, I'm probably up around $350 in 6 months. Now, to a lot of people, I feel that that's, well, it depends. Okay, so there's two people, right? There's two types of people. There are the people that will look at the process. They're probably people that have been in the trading space a while. They understand that it's very hard to make money. And they'll say, you made $350, that's awesome. And I mean, I'm proud of that, right? I'm proud that I was able to make something. But realistically, a lot of people that will come into the streams or they'll watch these recap videos, they'll see me make like $10, $20 on a day, and they'll not be impressed by it. That's not going to be impactful to them. And realistically, that's going to drive people away from what I'm trying to promote, which is I'm trying to promote process. And if people see that process doesn't give impactful results, that's going to make people not care about process. They're going to go to the gurus. They're going to go to the people saying, I'll show you. Look at me. I made $10,000 today. Watch me. And that really drives people to gurus. So like in some ways, I feel like me trying to show this strategy that I do, it's going to appeal to the process focused traders, but it's really driving away a lot of the people that actually need the help. The people that are only focused on the flashy results, they're getting suckered into these guru courses. And I feel like I'm not doing an effective job of trying to convert or educate or show the other side to these people. Right, and yeah, like lazy, like the way we all think, right? I think most of us here understand that process is the key, right? It's about the strategy, it's about finding something that works, developing a plan. I think we all understand that. And a lot of you guys watch me, not because I make flashy returns, right? I made $14 yesterday after like 4 days of nothing. But I want to do a better job of trying to reach out to the other side. So that's part of why I'm developing this new strategy. This new strategy, if it works, should give me higher potential for income. And if I could even, like, we'll just say 4x the returns. If I could make, in a 6-month period, $1,500 to $2,000, I think that's enough that it's going to open more eyes for more people. And if I can then use those profits to say, hey, I got this way because of process, I think that will be a net benefit for everybody. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm standing right now. And one of the big things that opened my eyes is that when I saw how the chat aggressively defended me, and I understand, again, like this guy he was like bad mouthing me, so I get that. But when I saw that no one really said, hey, you know, this guy does bring up a good point, though. You only made $2, and throughout this entire channel history, 6 months, you've only made like 300. That's, for taking 2 hours a day every day, only making 300. That's not a lot. Realistically, this is, I would categorize what I'm doing right now with this channel as closer to a hobby. And I'm happy with that, but I would like to see this become something more. If that makes sense. Ooh, we got a nice spike here on BJDX. Light volume though. But yeah, that's kind of the mentality I'm at right now. I'm at a crossroad. And I do want to make videos talking about this. I'm trying to think of the right ways to really explain it. And maybe I'm not doing the best job explaining it here to you guys. But that's kind of where I'm sitting right now. In case you guys are wondering why I'm trying out this new shorting strategy, why I'm going to all these different links to come up with this new system, that's why I'm doing it. In case it looks weird why I'm doing it. All right, we're at the top of the hour. Let's see if we get any new things coming up. You're green on BJDX, $10.89. Good stuff. All right. Do we get any news on the scanner? Yeah, I mean, CDIO, this one's like, it's just churning. I mean, this is actually a pretty big flush right here, but it's been mostly churning. EVTV, we kind of like this, had this flat line for a little bit. Still kind of just no volume. Oh, wait, no. Okay. 250, I'm green on BJDX 951. Nice. I like the channel because it's a community where I can learn. No, I mean, and I do like that you guys seem to be on the same page as me. It really helps just to have the community. And like that was the main reason I started this. All right, that was the fundamental reason. GRX. So this one looks like a death spiral stock. So pop into immediate rollover. Did have a good bounce here. Not really. Yeah, this is a cheaper stock. Even though this bounce looks impressive, it's not even 10 cents. Okay, so a little deceptive on the bounce. MGRX just had a 18 million pump. Yeah, but it's a penny stock. But it's a penny stock. I mean, this one's just too cheap for me. I don't really want to put much into it. Put 10 years of continuous, consistent work into one thing, one channel, and you will see. No, I mean, in 6 months for me to get like 200 and, or not 200, like 600 and something subscribers, like I'm already blown away. And by the way, thank you guys so much for supporting me in this. Like, I genuinely, when I started this, I thought maybe in a year I might have like 10 people watching me. Like the fact that we can have an audience of 40, like that's already something that I'm super, super proud of. And I feel that I want to provide back. You know, I want to put something out there that I feel is worthy of others watching. But yes, thank you for that. I like it because it's chill and I feel like a spy. Most people seem long biased and came from the Ross guy, who I don't know much. How do you not know about Ross? Like that's the real question, man. You say you're the spy, more like the outsider. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But like, I'm surprised you don't know about Ross. I would say he's probably one of the biggest guys in the small cap space. I mean, fair enough, right? I mean, I guess not everybody's gonna know him, but yeah, he's like the big dog of the gurus. Like you think of the guys who sell stuff, Ross is the guy. I think that's part of why my review video got as much traction as it did, just because it had his name in it. Like if I wanted to push my content more, I could just put hashtag warrior trading in the descriptions and that might algorithmically push the videos more. But I don't really want to just lean on that crutch. I know about him a bit, but I started off short biased and most people I watch don't talk about him really. He's more scalpy than who I watch, I think. Yeah, Ross is very scalpy. Okay, so interesting. You had this pop up, immediate failure, light volume, and now this thing's just falling off a cliff. What does the level 2 look like? I mean, it looks... I don't see any big orders. They could be hidden orders. There's a 10,000 share buyer. That buyer kind of got eaten up. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a big volume coming through here. Don't really trust this. Okay, so we have given back basically the whole move now. We're on the threshold of red on the day. You could look for a breakthrough, the whole dollar for a bounce play. I don't like it though, just because this volume's super, super high on these candles. Doesn't look safe at all. We've already seen on the level 2 that there was 100,000 seller stacked here. Was it here? Or was it here? I think it was here that we had the 100,000 share seller. And actually, look at the volume. That 100,000 share seller never got taken out because there was never that much volume here. Interesting. EDPHL. Ooh, I don't like this. So you had this grind up, and then you had it somewhat grind up during pre-market, and now suddenly a pump here. No news. This looks like a pump and dump if I ever saw one. I'm telling you, this is a pump and dump. I'm telling you, it's gonna dump. It's not going back to 4. It's going to like 350. Watch me use my mystical powers and watch it come true. Looking at the level 2, there's a bit of selling at 455. Looks like about a 10,000 share seller there. 455. All right, well, it's going the direction I thought it would. Phase 1, let's see it go to $4. No, it bounced it. Fair enough. Okay, so if you did try to buy that very scary looking knife, you could have got 420 to 460. So you had 40 cents of potential there. I wonder if Flip Flop is shorting. Honestly, I don't even know if Flip Flop's awake right now. Half the time, he's not even here. He's sleeping in. Okay, so we basically went to 4. My prediction was that this did not go to 4. My prediction is that it went through 4. I'm still predicting it goes to 350. Looking at the total volume, this looks like very clear distribution. Yeah, I think we go through 4. I think we go to 350. My mystical powers are doing their thing. I can predict these things. Okay, 3 broke. Still a pretty big seller on the level 2. Where would I want to buy? If I'm actually gonna buy this, like, there's such a big range here on the daily. You could do 250 all the way to like 325. That's such a huge range. I guess on the upper end, you could look at like 320. On this, yeah, okay, there's a little bit of resistance here. 320 could actually be something. New viewer here, just coming to the world of investing. Hello. Well, hello, sir. Just be very careful. We are in the small cap sector. This is probably one of the most dangerous sectors outside of options trading. So, yeah, we're mostly looking at stocks that make very volatile moves. Like, you can see this stock popped up. This one had a history of moving with low volume. This is very particular for pump and dumps. That's why whenever it was up here, I was predicting this was not only going to sell off. I mean, my prediction still hasn't happened yet. My prediction was that not only did this go back to the $4 level, I was expecting it to break down to 350. So that's still what I'm looking towards. What are your thoughts if the market was open 24/7? When I was newer, I thought it would have been very impactful. The more I know now, and if you know about futures trading, you already know this, but a 24-hour market doesn't really mean much, because even if the market is open 24 hours a day, there's not enough volume and not enough interest at certain time frames. It actually is more productive to have focus concentrated on a certain time area, because that creates more urgency, more retail churn in a smaller area. It creates better time cost efficiency. Can I make a suggestion? To grow the channel, you have to make up beat talk. Make it up beat talk. What do you mean? What is beat talk? All right, we're gonna see it. All right, if it goes to 350, you guys gotta like the video, because I called this out. I said from here it was gonna do a full rejection to 350. It's not there yet, but it's really close. Come on, you got to go to 350. I'm gonna look like a fool if you don't go to 350. Come on, come on. Come on, 8 more cents. You can do it. All right, 6 more, 5 more, 2 more, 1 more. All right, broke 350. You guys got to like the video. All right, you got to like the stream. I might get in this soon though. I might have missed the opportunity here. So I wanted to buy at 320s. That was what I was looking for. Because this went down in one fluid motion, maybe it was logical to get in sooner. Dude, I did call it though, didn't I? I literally said, you can rewind it. Back here, I said this was going to not go to only 4, it's going to go to 350. Right? This is the signature pump and dump. It goes up on no volume, goes up more pre-market, no volume, and then massive spike, no news, flush. This is a textbook example. Because this dumped so quickly, maybe I could have done 330s. Like, I could have got in here at 330s, and I could have gotten 20 cents. How could you tell it was a pump and dump, and would it be viable to trade the reverse? I mean, maybe, right? I'm looking into a shorting strategy right now. Let me look. This stock would not have qualified for my strategy. So I would not have shorted this. There are certain criteria I'm looking for. At least for my strategy, I would not have shorted this. But there is the argument to make that this does look like a pump and dump. And you could maybe try to develop a strategy around identifying pump and dump setups and then trying to short into these moves. Because this does happen. Put it this way, it's happened enough that I could identify, right? And that's a pretty big call out, right? Saying that it's going to go from like 520s down to 350. That's a pretty big, that's a bold claim, you know? So, yeah. I wouldn't feel comfortable buying at 320s now. We've had too much consolidation here. Lower volume, but I still don't. 320s doesn't feel as safe now. Yeah, 330s could have even been a realistic bounce point. Probably 280s would be the next logical buy point. More upbeat appeal to the TikTok brains. Hey guys, today we're gonna go at hyperspeed. Now let's, before we start, smash that. No, that's too millennial. That's too millennial. I don't know how game. Like, I need to have that one game where the guy's like running down the road collecting the coins. You know which one? It's like a speedrunner or something. I don't know, but I need to have one of those going just so their TikTok brains can watch it on the side. Yeah, if this... I'm just trying to think, how bad would the pump and dump be? Yeah, I think 280s I would buy. Yeah, so that was a pretty big breakdown. It's actually, in hindsight, it's crazy to think my 350 call out was actually too conservative. Yeah, I'm eyeing up the 280s for an entry. I do have an order ready if it does go there. we'll see if we get the break. Yeah, I'm gonna pivot. Okay, so I did have an order at 284. I'm a bit concerned that it's taking too long. I'm gonna drop down a little. Yeah, if it bounces here, it is what it is. But this is clearly a sell-off, so I need to avoid getting stuck in a flush. I mainly trade in Japan, and since the government is telling us I need to trade more with the US, I am here to scout out the market. Oh, konnichiwa. That's like one of the only words I know. But welcome. Yeah, so a lot of consolidation on the level 2 around 3. I am considering that this is already shown that it can rug. How much is this rug for? 340 to 3, I mean, really 303. So this can potentially rug. Yeah, down to like 270. Trading pre-market session 9 to 10 p.m. would be the dream. We'll just move countries. All right, could be the next leg here. $83. There's no way my order actually... Dude, there is no way. What was the low? Okay. So I was literally on the bid. Because I had my order at 273. I canceled it because it didn't immediately bounce, but... If we get another extension, I might be in here. Okay. I moved it down to 263. What was the low here? Oh my god. So I actually timed the bottom of both of these candles down to the penny. Oh, that's frustrating. I'm on extended, right? Yeah, extended hours. I might size down on this, though, because this thing is showing it's moving much more than I was expecting it to. In terms of just raw volatility. Like, think about this. This has gone from 560 to 260. Right? This has dropped over 50% in 30 minutes. Best green day this month, 653 on NGRX. Ohio gozaimasu! Arigato. That is super frustrating, though. So I was 1 penny off of getting this, I canceled the order because it didn't bounce here, and I wanted to get in for the next leg down. And I put my order at 263. It went to 263, and now it could be bouncing. Right, I would have been up at least 17 cents a share. I really need to change. I need to change it because, like, right now you can just see the canceled orders, but you can't see the price that I put the orders for. I might just try and change that real quick so I can show you guys. That way I'm not just like, trust me, bro. I really put an order there. You got to trust me. Like, let's see. Display mode. No. How do I change? Oh, wait, maybe it's this. There we go. Okay, which one of these do I need? Limit price, I guess. Let's see, does that show it? Yeah. Yeah, so look here. 263, 272. Like... Also, I think I said 73. It was 72. So I was actually 1 penny off here. But... oh, that's frustrating. I would have got about... yeah, I would have got about 17 cents off of this bounce. However, I would have probably been out here because the fact that it bounced here and is now struggling to make a high, even after all of this, tells me there could be more selling. So where else would I want to consider a buy at? I mean, you could do 240s. That's logical, but maybe... no, it's consolidated around 280. That's a pretty good range. Low 240s seems reasonable. If it's going to keep going. Yeah, because we're at 66 on the bid. Man, what a rug pull, though. 50% drawdown in 30 minutes. That's brutal. A bit frustrating that I was 1 penny off of getting filled on the first leg. I was literally on the bid on the second leg. I'd have much more soup if I stuck to my... why aren't you sticking to the plan? You gotta stick to the plan. That's why we have them. Do we make plans so we can just ignore them? So we can justify our gambling? Sir, if you have a plan and you don't follow it, you are gambling. Maybe I'm being too harsh. I break my rules too. Confidence is shot. I feel that. Especially, like, the start of this month where I had those 2 bigger red days, like, my confidence was really hurt from that, you know? I totally get it. Yeah, like I could have predicted this too. Just when we saw here, I said there was 100,000 share seller on the level 2. Like, you could have predicted that this would have happened. It seems like we're experiencing a lot of rug pulls right now. It definitely doesn't feel like a very safe environment. CDIO is interesting. This one is still kind of just really range bound here, right? It never did recover back above this trend line, but it's also not showing. It seems like the pattern has simply changed, not that it's done. This is still at the upper end. It still looks quite bullish in the context of multi-day runner. This could be something to watch going into market open. But yeah, we're coming up on the half hour here. We'll see if we get any continued news. It's unfortunate missing out on this. That's how the cookie crumbles. If we don't have any news at the half hour here, then I'll probably put out a poll, see how people are doing. We haven't done a poll yet to see if people are green or not, if they've taken trades. I suppose we can do it now while we're waiting that extra minute. Man, it's the fact that this thing just can't make a new high. That's quite scary considering how much this has dropped. All right, let's see how many people have not traded. I wouldn't be surprised if there's less traders today just because it's been a slower day. GFAI moving, but it is a penny stock. I'm probably not going to mess with this one. Wow, 82% no trade? That's pretty high. Okay, I thought maybe I was in the minority, but if 82% of people haven't traded, it looks like I'm in the majority. CDT does have news. Pretty light volume to start here. Also, a very big downtrend. This gap scanner still looks horrible. Look at this gap scanner. Like, the biggest move is up 32%. It's definitely a slower day. Okay, we're having a bit more distribution now. Only 59% no trade. Still vast majority, but not quite as dominant. Looks like we have one or two losers here. A handful of winners. Yeah, it seems like most people are just recognizing that it's a slower day. I mean, this was basically the only opportunity I saw so far today for me with my strategy. So, missed that opportunity. Timing was pretty tight on it too. I got to be more open-minded too. I was being pretty harsh that I missed this, but considering how powerful this downward move is, my caution was really justified in that sense, right? If I got this wrong, if I was not conservative enough, then there wasn't many bounce opportunities, right? The trend is very strongly down. So even though I was overly cautious, that caution was justified. So I do need to give myself more credit there. CDIO. This thing's just ranging. Might be a no trade day to end the week. Yeah, CDT is the only thing that I'm seeing with news moving at the half hour. And I mean, this thing it's not getting a lot of volume. Just doesn't look like it's going to do anything. It's so slow. What would Ross have even traded? Like, I'm trying to think, what would he have traded today? I mean, I guess the best one probably would have been BJDX. At least this one had some kind of movement to it, right? Like, maybe you could have traded this. That's like it. You did have some volume. I mean, I guess maybe this. EVTV did have a second curl here. I don't trust EVTV though, right? This flatlined here for like a good 5 minutes. And even now, like, it's barcoding, so. Yeah. Yo, what's up, Mark? What's up? How you doing, sir? Taking any trades? Reminder to anybody coming into the stream, I do have a Discord if you're interested. The link is in the description. Nasty sell-off there. Do I trade NQ, sir? Not anymore. I used to do futures. I do not trade it anymore. This is a small cap channel. I know. Very cringe. Yeah, I used to trade NQ. Mostly MES, like, what were they called? The minis? No, micros. MES is micros, I think. Yeah, so I used to trade the micros for SPY. I don't really... I haven't done futures in over a year. Couldn't really get edge doing that. Also, the fees were very high. Not cringe, just interesting. Oh, I appreciate it, sir. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Do you do small caps, or is it just exclusively futures for you? Yeah, CDT. I mean, right now it looks... This is like a terrible example for small caps because we've just seen very low float movers and we've seen pump and dumps. Like, just that this is all we've been seeing, it seems. Even I would call BJDTX a pump and dump as well. Knowing that there was a 100,000 share seller here is kind of what seals it for me. Like, this was destined to get rugged. Looks like Ross traded EDHL and went red. Yeah, I was about to say, if Ross traded why would he do that? Like, This was such an obvious pump and dump to me. Why would he trade this? Like, this grinded up on no volume for this move. And then when this finally starts sparking, there's no volume on it. Or there's no news. So no news, clearly accumulation without volume. Like, I don't know. Like, and if he would have made money, that actually, I would have been a little, if he's red, that's fine. But if he would have made money on this, I would have been a little upset, not gonna lie. Considering he trades the front side. But yeah. You've been trading small caps since 2003. What? That dude. You're like senior executive officer then to me. I've been trading for like 7 years. I've been trading small caps for like 3. So yeah, you're like a super veteran then. Okay. Yeah, we got a legend in the chat, Sir Mark. Do you have a preferred system of trading then, Mark? As far as like, are you short bias, long bias? Are you looking for front side, back side momentum? Like pre-market, open market hours? What do you look for? Ross be taking dumb, crazy risks sometimes. Like, I mean, what are you looking for when you see this? If, like, what, did he just buy the first micro pullback, I guess? Like, I don't know what he sees in this. Like, to me, it just looks like he bought the first thing that moved. EDHL is a Hong Kong... Is it? Oh, you're so right. It is a Hong Kong company. Chinese. That's commonly a no-no for Ross. Well, then why did he trade it? Yeah, I think we're just chilling here. Ross has recently been taking more and more risk with these Chinese stocks. It had no news, right? Yeah, no news. On my screen, you can see here that these are the breaking news for a stock. EDHL has no breaking news for this. This was clearly just a pump, right? You can see accumulation here on low volume, accumulation here. Price has moved up on no volume. Massive spike. And also look at the distribution of volume here. So on 38,000 shares of volume, you had a spike up all the way to here. Relative to this volume and this spike, this distribution has massive volume. So a huge amount of distribution occurred here relative to this move up. This was a textbook pump and dump. He only lost $100 on it? What? How do you trade front side on this move and only lose $100? Like, you would have had to have bought, like, I'm trying to think. So Ross usually waits for the first micro pullback. The stock went straight up. Huh. Him only losing $100 actually that's insane. He only lost $100 on this. Trading front side. Seems to be getting in really quick and out just as quick in this cold market. A micro pullback on the 10-second chart, not the 1 minute. I guess Ross's edge is more necessary in a cold market. I would argue that Ross's edge is stronger the less he's in a trade, right? The shorter the time frame, the bigger his edge would be, right? And if you know what I'm talking about when I say edge, you know what I mean. But like, if his edge is for shorter time frames, right? Because you figure in a colder market, any amount of time he's in, he's more susceptible to that downtrend, right? Because stocks tend to reverse quicker in a cold market. So, I mean, I guess if he's willing to get in and hold for like 5 seconds, I guess maybe he's okay, but I don't know. It just feels like it's better just to not be trading if you're going to be getting in for 5 seconds. He did that yesterday knowing the chances it dumps are heightened. Yeah, he, what was the one? ENVB, was it? Yeah, he traded this one too. I don't know. I don't remember exactly where he bought, but he made like, what, 12,000 or something yesterday trading this. So, I mean, I guess, okay, this one at least makes some sense, right? Like, you can see there was a wick on this one. So if he bought on this candle, right? He bought like halfway through this. Maybe he bought up to there. Okay, that makes some sense. At least this one, there was better opportunity. My thinking, though, for this is like, literally, you look at the way this is structured. Unless there was a micro pullback on this candle, it looks to me like this candle just went up. You had another leg up here, and then this was just the top and it rolled. But normally on news, so wonder why he did it here. Well, he probably did it here because there was nothing else. And yeah, like Chinese company, clear accumulation, no news, pop up on light volume. Like this screams rug pull. So for Ross to be getting in that seems very strange. Maybe he just missed the signals. To be fair, like I identified this before. Like I identified this like a minute early, right? I identified it right as this was starting to pop. So maybe if he found it like a minute late, he had to make a reflexive decision. I could understand that. I've done that, so I can relate to that. That'd be the only reasonable thing I could assume, though. Because I feel like anybody who had time to assess this would come to the conclusion this is risky. Maybe not a new trader, but someone with Ross's experience should know this pattern. Dang, and I said it was going to 350 and it went all the way to 270, 260. This, dang, I was 80 cents off from the bottom. It's so sad too. I asked for likes if I was right, and I got like 4 likes from that. It's so sad. I called out this correction and said you gotta like if it goes to there, and I only got 4 likes. What was me? What was me? Whatever will I do? But yeah, we got about 10 minutes left until the top of the hour. I'll stick around for 5 minutes after the top, like normal. I'm not really holding my breath for a setup at this point, though. Really only had one opportunity, and I wasn't able to get the entry. Yeah, and it's just been a slower day. We haven't had many stocks moving. This has been a day to be patient. Actually, looking at the stocks that did move, CDT, I gotta put CDT too, because that was one that popped up. Yeah, we look at the stocks that did have some sort of movement, right? This one obviously was a rug pull. GIBO, this one ended up rolling over. So that's 2 rollovers. BJDX rollover, so that's 3 out of 3. CDT. I wouldn't say this rolled over. It's kind of just not really moving. I won't count this as a rollover or anything. I won't call it a breakout either. EVTV, I'll call this a winner, right? This one broke out and it's holding higher. So this one's a winner. So 1 winner, 3 rollovers. CDIO. I think I would call this one a winner too. Right? From pre-market where we would be watching, this did move up and it has held. So 2 have moved and held, 3 have rolled over, and CDT is kind of just like that weird one where it just didn't do anything. So yeah, slightly bearish environment to be working in. I feel bad that I didn't manage to take any trades, but on that same token, most people in the chat here have also not traded. So with that context, I don't feel, I mean, I'm in the big majority, right? The vast majority of people seem to have not traded today. SGN moving, it's too cheap for me, but if you're desperate and you want to take a stab at a penny stock, this one's moving. In this market, it's all about capital preservation for me. Yeah. I mean, that's where I stand too. Yep. With my new strategy, I would have been able to short some of these stocks. So, I mean, I'm still excited for it, right? If my back testing is legit and it holds up under scrutiny, I should be able to trade more frequently. And I think that'll be more exciting for you guys and for anybody coming in. Even though initially starting off, it's going to be super small size, at least seeing me engage more with trades should be more interesting for people to watch. Right? Seeing the open P&L shift on the account, I feel like that can be exciting to watch for people. Is today? Is the 20th? How many trading days are left? It's a shorter month, so we only have the next 5 days of the week, and then we're at the end of the month. So I'm down about 16 or so bucks on the month. So realistically, I would need like maybe in one good green day, I could recover that. So it's still definitely possible I can go green on the month. Right? I would love to see me, despite me having this really bad start to the month, if I could manage to get back to green, I'd love to see that. Not holding my breath, but I think having $16 a profit is totally achievable in 5 days. Well, then again, I'm not going to be trading those 5 days, am I? Right? Because I have that shorting strategy. So, yeah, maybe I won't even be able to trade. So I'm trading in the shorting account. Yeah. I guess since I'll only have one day trade, if I do take a day trade, I won't be able to trade anymore in that account, so I could swap back over to the cash account then. Right, so I take one short trade, then I switch back over to this account. I could do that. That'd be kind of weird, but I could do that. AI news, low volume? I'll check it out. Appreciate the call out. Very good call out. Yeah, news. Looks like it's moving. Low volume. Awarded contract to provide U.S. government. That's big. That's big. $20 million shares, so a bit more thickly traded. We got a surge here now, about 10, 15,000 shares. Very nice. Actually getting some sort of momentum here. Very, very nice continuation. 100,000 flow in here. Okay, very brief pullback to 5. You do have some daily resistance at 524. Their get with the killer call out though. It was an awesome call out. Okay, pretty big push down here. 520 down to 470s. Volume was quite high. We're at the top of the hour. See if anything else is going to come out here. This is definitely the one to keep an eye on, though. Yeah, it really seems in consolidation here. I don't know. This is weird price action where we had a huge volume up and a huge volume down. Considering how low volume these 3 other candles are, this looks like potentially being top heavy. That makes me a little more bearish. Probably around like 460s would be best value. Could bounce here though. There is some buyers in the level 2 at around 485, 490. Well, those ones just collapsed. Okay. Pretty big push down there. See how 460 holds. Yeah, still big selling pressure here. Four sixty seemed like the best value given where this started to move from. So if this is going to be strength, I would expect it to be there. Okay, break of 450 and quick recovery. I did have an entry there, didn't get hit though. Yeah, I'll go ahead and cancel it. My entry was at 437. So I was about 8 cents off of an entry there. I've just been really conservative. I've been too conservative on some of these entries. CDT is getting more momentum to it. I'm going to keep looking at this one, but CDT is another stock that's moving. Yeah, this looks like this could be failing here. Yeah, 460 just might be the spot for this curl. I'm very concerned because this volume on this push down was so high. And also this volume occurred up here for the big move, and these legs up are on lighter volume. So this could just be top heavy rolling over. I love the news though. The news seems very good. Yeah, I'm in there. That push down really wasn't a fair distribution for that push. I'll give it a moment. Seems like a lot of tension around 432. Yeah, really just grinding here in this area now. See if I can get it out for half. Yeah, not hitting it for half. Fair enough. This ends up rolling back over. I'm just going to have to cut it. I really would have thought with that kind of news catalyst, though, this would have done better. The spread's surprisingly gotten wider. I still like this posture. It looks good for me. The only thing that's really sticking out is this nasty hammer candle. Or flush, yeah. I'm out half. I don't like how long this has taken to resolve, and this drawdown wasn't great. Yeah, taking too long. I had an excellent entry, but just... this thing did not want to curl back at all. Whenever we did have this breakdown, it was again on light volume, and I was seeing bigger orders stacked on the bid. The main things keeping me in were just how much this overextended on the initial flush and the news catalyst being so strong. The news catalyst really was what was keeping me in it. I think if it was just the price action, I would have been out for a break even. I mean, small win. I should be happy for it. But yeah, it churning here was not ideal. Hmm. There you go. There's your trade for the day. Yeah, assessing the quality is hard on this one. 420s is where I wanted to enter. I did get it. But it was a pretty quick drop. Also, it did struggle to re-break this level. I'd probably give it like a B quality. Volatility, definitely higher. Like a 7, just because of that one flush. An okay trade, though. Nothing crazy. Just looking over if there's anything else. CDIO did end up breaking out. Interesting enough. CDT ended up rolling over. Yeah, I think we're done here. I'll keep an eye on SPI, just out of curiosity, what would it have done? Because initially what I wanted to do was sell half at 439 and then try to hold the other half for 444. That was the initial plan. But we weren't getting that breakthrough. It was close, right? We had that bounce up to 435. I was waiting for 439. I had my order out. Realistically, I should have probably taken half off the table here because I did bounce up and hit a decent profit early. But it's just, I was so close to hitting the target that I just wanted to hold it for it. And yeah, seeing this curl back down, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if this makes a new like lower volume, looks like it's coming and I'll have to get out. Fortunately, that didn't happen, so I was able to hit it, but not the cleanest trade. Definitely not the cleanest trade. But yeah, I don't see anything else. This looks like it's kind of going sideways, so I'm probably going to wrap it up here. Yeah, we're getting close to the market open anyway, so I got to get ready. If you guys enjoyed the stream, please do leave a like. If you're new to the stream, you want to see more, maybe subscribe. I do stream allegedly every day, so maybe if you like this and want to see more of it, consider that. But yeah, you guys have a good rest of your day, and I will be back on Monday. Take care.